Okay, good morning everybody. It is Tuesday, August 24th, 2021, and we're going to get started with our pre-market analysis on the S&P 500 futures market. We're going to go ahead and jump to our ultra-high time frames here and just take a look at, see if anything's changed since yesterday. Probably not going to see much of a change here, considering how strong of a push we had yesterday. Quarterly looking very strong with no signs of exhaustion. Same story on the monthly. And when we get to our weekly, we did go ahead and break above that bearish indication that we got off of the all-time high that we made in last week's market. So we have pushed now to make a new all-time high. And what I'm seeing is the potential here, if RVI does not go ahead and push higher, we might end up getting another bearish indication here. But we do have all of this week. So we have today, we have Wednesday, we have Thursday, and Friday. So this could change. So right now, the bearish indication we had off the previous weekly candle has been negated. However, we very well could go ahead and make a new bearish indication on this next weekly candle, assuming that things were to close exactly the way they look right now. So we don't want to say anything until this candle actually closes on Friday. And so right now, what I can say is there is a little bit of a potential bearish exhaustion pattern happening right now, but overall still looking very strong here on the weekly chart. On our daily here, it looks like we're actually starting to get a little bit of a bearish indication right now off the current high. Of course, remember that we are going to see these kind of things in a strong bullish push that could lead to some of these little minor, very shallow pullbacks of, 10, 15, 20 points, and then the market continues to push. But we'll have to monitor this because the previous daily high here, which was our all-time high, looks like we actually have broke above that in yesterday's Globex session. But we did have that bearish indication. So just like on the weekly, although this one is actually officially closed, we do have a little bit of an exhaustion pattern up top here. And that is, it was actually off that level right there. Now you can see that with RVI, assuming that it continues to push up like this bearish indication might end up no longer being there. So if this does not end up being a nice clear peak, kind of like this peak here, or this peak here, or this peak here, if we don't have a nice clear peak and this continues to push, this will be a false signal. So we'll have to again take a look at the charts here when this new candle closes this morning or this afternoon, and if it does not, if it continues to look the same as it does right now, this will be a false signal. So we'll have to kind of watch that. But for now, it is a bearish indication. When we get over to our 4-hour, we also have a little bit of a bearish indication, not off the previous daily high like we saw on the daily chart there, but on this overnight situation here, we did push to a higher high and get a little bit of a lower high on the RVI. So somewhat of an argument there for a bearish signal up there as well. Outside of that, I don't see any, let me see here. Don't see anything very strong here. There might be a little bit of a bullish indication off the current 4-hour candle here, assuming that we don't break the low of this candle back here. So the low here at 44.75, if that does not break and the RVI does stay down where it is right now when this candle closes at 7 a.m. Pacific, then we will have a bullish indication right there. So we'll keep that in mind. This could eventually pull back and break through 75, and then we'll no longer have that case. So we'll have to kind of monitor that. And then the last time frame here of our, what I consider my higher time frame charts, we do have, interestingly enough, that same bullish indication that we just saw on the 4-hour off that 44.75 low. So assuming we do stay above that, we will hold this 1-hour and 4-hour bullish indication. And then it looks like the 60-minute is also agreeing with the 4-hour with that bearish indication off the overnight high. So we're kind of, let's just kind of, well, let me jump to my intermediate time frames really quickly just to see if we do have agreement. And you can see on the 30-minute here, we also do have the bullish divergences going on off of these lows compared to the 44.75 low there. And then we do have somewhat of a bearish case that could be made off the overnight high. And so let's take a look. The 10-minute also has a bullish indication down here, and didn't catch it on here, but also has that bearish indication off the overnight high. So we do have a decent amount of mixed signals this morning. So if you guys remember back to yesterday, we came into the market very confident we were going to have a bullish morning. And we did expect them to push through the overnight high and continue to chug higher. And that's exactly what ended up happening yesterday. This morning, it looks like it's not quite as clear because we have, a lot of conflicting information here. So if I could just wrap everything up real quick here. The ultra high time frames all look very strong, no signs of exhaustion. Maybe somewhat of an argument on this weekly, but we don't really want to talk about the current candle because it has a lot of time before it actually closes and the whole situation can change. So right now, the weekly as well, very strong, no bearish indications so far. And then on our daily, that's where we do get this bearish indication from the previous daily high. And then the 4-hour and the hourly, and then all the time frames below that start to show bearish indications from the highs and bullish indications from the overnight low. So overall, the market, if we step back to the higher time frames, overall everything looks very strong. So we do have a bullish bias here. However, we're going to have to keep in mind that because we have so many, we have a lot of agreement off of the highs that we're making right now of a bearish case, we could expect there to be some type of pullback here before the market continues to bounce and push higher. So again, this is not necessarily as clear as yesterday. We have somewhat of a mixed bag here, but the overall picture when we zoom out is very strong and very bullish. So if the market can hold above 44.75 this morning and go ahead and break the overnight high, then yes, we'll just continue. We can expect the market to continue to chug higher until we get some other indication of some bearishness. But if they break below 75, we can expect a deeper pullback, and that could mean we pull back into some of these other important levels that we have below us, including the previous daily low and 50% of the previous day, and a number of other great levels that we talk about in the room here. We won't discuss in the pre-market analysis. So I think that's where it leaves us this morning. Overall, the market still looks very strong. If it's going to continue to stay, the most aggressive thing that the bulls, let me put it this way, the most aggressive thing that the bulls could do this morning is stay above 75 here and continue to push. But if they do break through 75, we're going to have to look and see if we get some indications to buy the market a little bit lower here if it does pull back. So I will leave it at that, and we'll dial down to our short time frames here and look for some trade opportunities.